From Fox 8, this is breaking news.
Good afternoon, I'm John Snell.
And I'm Liz Reyes with a Fox 8 special report. A fire in Roseland forces evacuations for people within 1 mile.
This is maybe about 15 miles north of Hammond, and you see this giant plume extending several hundred feet up into the air at Smitty's Supply. This at the corner of Highway 51 and LA 10, which is a significant intersection there in Tangipahoa Parish. And actually, anybody who's been up I-55 north of Hammond would roughly know this area, because this is essentially just to the east of Interstate 55. Deputies say anybody within 1 mile needs to leave immediately and stay away until further notice.
So several people in the area have shared video like this. It's really incredible when you see those plumes of black smoke just shooting up into the air, smoke rising above the skyline. We heard from the parish president. Of course, this is all unfolding in Tangipahoa. The parish president saying no one was injured, but obviously folks in that area within a 1 mile zone urged to leave immediately. And the concern obviously is flying debris. And of course, just the smoke in the air and the way that the wind may be drifting. We're going to get Nakandra in just a few minutes to explain for us what that impact could be. But the key thing is no one was injured, but right now still an extremely dangerous situation for those who are within 1 mile.
And when you actually, if you do a Google image search of this, you'll see that kind of main intersection there, Highway 51 and 10 in Roseland, 10 not Interstate 10, but LA 10, which runs from Bogalusa all the way over to St. Francisville. This significant intersection in this large facility, manufacturing facility, kind of dominates the landscape there. With on Google Earth, the street view of a semi-trailer with lubricants on the side, and then you see a number of tanks. So that was part of the concern, although what we are hearing from local officials in Tangipahoa Parish is that there is no concern about chemicals. We are efforting to learn a little bit more about this, and they plan to have a command center set up, and we have a crew on the way to the scene. In the meantime, it stands to reason anybody heading up 51 would run into a road closure, and that's the case just north of 10 there in Roseland. So in the meantime, there are some pop-up showers in the area. I don't know exactly what that's doing, Nakandra Norwood, to the winds, but there's not been much of a drenching taking place there, at least.
Not in that particular area, although we do have some stronger storms that are very nearby. As we look at the region just north of the lake here, this is what we're seeing. We actually did have a severe thunderstorm warning that is just to the east here, and that could eventually bring us some changes in the winds. But as we get in a little bit tighter, this is going to show you a little bit better where we are. So this is where the severe thunderstorm is right now. This is the area where we are looking at that fire and explosion that we've been looking at. So this is how we're going to get in and dig a little bit closer. The winds in that area had been relatively calm, but we are starting to see, remember I talked about those outflow boundaries where you've got winds from this storm and winds from this storm coming overhead. So there's not a general wind direction that's really affecting this as much, because those winds are all over the place, and we are starting to see some shower activity around. Could see a heavier storm in that area as well. And you notice here where we do see that latest severe thunderstorm warning, just reminding us that we are still seeing severe thunderstorms in that area. So we're going to go ahead and get a look at this particular warning again that's been extended through 3:15, and that is just to the east of where this accident has happened and where we might be seeing that smoke plume. So you can expect some of the wind drift from that storm to continue on into this area. So zooming in even a little bit more, what we're seeing right across this area is where we're looking. There's Highway 10. This is going to be Roseland and Arcola, the area that's being affected by this fire, and I-55 over to the edge here. So this gives you a better idea of exactly where we're looking. And the gray in this indicates that they're relatively calm winds across that area. So that's going to mean less than 10-mile-per-hour winds through this area right now. We're going to get a little bit more here as we do have some storms nearby coming up in just a little bit.
Nakandra, if you could, we have a new image we want to show, but if you could, Nakandra, if you wouldn't mind, if you could, I know you have that powerful satellite imagery on your Viper, if you could zoom into the intersection of 10 and 51, we'll give people a look in just a second here at exactly what we're talking about from above. In the meantime, we do have a new image. This, if you're just joining us, a fire has prompted a mandatory evacuation within a 1-mile area of Smitty Supply in Roseland. This pretty significant plant there. No injuries are reported at this point. That's from Robbie Miller, the Tangebo Parish president.
Yeah, Smitty's, I was just doing some background searches on this. Smitty's been around since 1969. This is one of their plants. They've got one in Shreveport. They've got one in Jasper, Texas. And like John was basically saying, they sell a lot of like auto-related industrial oil, grease, brakes, fluids. They export products. And then you have this huge explosion happening today at this business. So right now, the location is Highway 51 at LA 10 right there.
I don't know how much of a help it is, but as I asked Nikandra to come in on, and you see actually what I was hoping was for that sort of aerial view. So if you look at the top of the screen, there we go. If you see where it says Arcola, you'll see that pretty significant plant there, and that is the area that we're looking at here. This by the Louisiana manufacturing standards, is a pretty significant site.
And it's amazing that no one was injured, but clearly there's still a big situation. And like you said, John, a lot of people travel in that area where this is located.
And we don't know what the fuel source is. There are lubricants that are stored there. A number of tankers will have to confirm exactly, the fire does seem to have taken up a portion of the storage site area, if you will, is what it appears to be. But I don't want to get ahead of what officials have told us in terms of what they have confirmed, because we don't know exactly what's burning. It does appear that it could be something there's a pretty significant fuel source. Sometimes you'll get, this isn't tires, but sometimes you'll get tires and that sort of thing that, creates a very large black plume, but it's, not that serious a fire. So fortunately, no injuries reported. And just a light shower in the area now, which has passed that area. So we'll get a better sense here in the next few minutes, hopefully, about the status of the fire itself.
So all of this unfolding in Roseland, and as you can imagine, on this Friday afternoon, people may have had plans, they may have been passing by, or that could have been an access route to get them from one spot to another, as 15 to 20 miles north of Hammond in this area. And until they get this situation under control, you're going to have a lot of restrictions around that area. We don't know how many people work within the facility, if they were able to get everyone out. Hopefully that is the case, because we have not heard of any injuries, but you can see the red flames still there and how black that thick smoke is as it moves out into the air.
And I think, we should mention too that we're not 100% sure about the status of the fire at this particular point in time. So these images are getting a little dated at this point, but obviously this fire would have been significant enough that it was something that was seen for miles and miles away, perhaps all the way to Hammond. I'm sure it provided an interesting view for people who are on I-55. We will be back in a little bit later this afternoon with reports.
Do have crews that are going to be
have crews on the way to the scene. For Liz Reyes, I'm John Snell, Fox 8 News.
Was able